Alright, time to feed the viewers. Feed the hungry viewers. Oh, hello viewers. Mornings. Another beautiful day. Yep. Hope your five senses work. Health and strength is good or excellent. Good. Alright, now, what do I got for you guys? Let's see here. We got two articles here on the Nvidia app. But I'm gonna do one at a time though. It says here, it says this one's from Tom's Hardware. It says we tested the Nvidia app performance problem. Games can run at up to 15% slower with the app. Maybe it should be, and then it says maybe it should have stayed in the beta for a while. It says here, we tested game performance with new Nvidia app, which is installed by default with the driver package, and found that it reduces performance by up to 15% in some games. When Nvidia rolled out its 56614 driver last month, it officially placed GeForce Experience on the legacy status. The first time you load GFE with 566.14, it will prompt you to update the new Nvidia app. You could decline, but there will be no future updates for GFE with the 566.36 driver. Nvidia removed GFE completely, and the only Nvidia app or you can run without the extra features it provides and install the driver only. It appears skipping the Nvidia app might be the better course of action for the time being, as we've confirmed reports around the web that the app hurts gaming performance, dropping frame rates by up to 15% in some cases. It says here, if it's not immediately clear, 15% is a massive performance drop caused by a driver or application update. To put it in perspective, the more expensive RTX 4060 Ti is only 18% faster than the base model RTX 4060. According to our GPU benchmark, running both at 1080p medium settings, thankfully the performance decrease isn't universally 15%, but we tested the 4060 and saw a 2 to 12% drop in frame rate across 5 games that we tested. It says here, we used the number from our recent Intel Arc B580 review, then retested a handful of games. After doing a clean driver install. The time without installing the Nvidia app as a part of the package. The Nvidia app was initially running with the default setting, i.e. overlay enabled but not actively using it. And then it says here's the rundown performance. And then it shows Assassin's Creed Mirage, 1080p with medium settings. Then it shows Assassin's Creed settings. Then it went to Baldur's Gate 3 with DirectX 11. Assassin's Creed is DirectX 12. Baldur's Gate 3 DirectX 11. Then Black Myth Wukong DirectX 12. And then Flight Simulator 2024 DirectX 12, and Stalker 2 DirectX 12. Then it says there were a few anomalies like Stalker 2 at 1440p Ultra and ran faster with the app, but it was clearly running out of video RAM in either cases, so the numbers weren't consistent. Probably we just had a lucky run when we did our initial testing. Microsoft Flight Simulator was also slightly faster in our 1440p Ultra results. When using the app, still it was within the margin of error, and neither result was particularly promising at less than 30 FPS. It says everywhere else not having the Nvidia app installed, or at least not running, though we did check that scenario, improved performance. We sort of expect 1080p medium to show the largest delta, as that more of a CPU limit scenario, but performance hit was mostly independent of the settings and resolution we tested. Some games show a smaller hit to performance, other larger, and of course we're only talking about one set of hardware tested for the time being. But it's clear there's a problem with performance being reduced by a not significant amount. Some people have opined that Unreal Engine 5 games are the most affected, but by our number, the biggest loser was Assassin's Creed Mirage, which dropped by 9% at 1080p medium, 12% at 1080p ultra, and 6% at 1440p ultra. Stalker 2 lost around 6% as well. And then it says in parentheses, skipping the 1440p ultra result, with Black Myth Wukong only dropped by about 2 to 6%. Baldur's Gate 3, a DirectX 11 game, saw a 3 to 4% hit, and Flight Simulator lost 6% at 1080p as well. And then it says it's a safe bet that the performance loss will vary with different CPU and GPU, though without further testing, we can't say precisely how much. At least one user report up to a 15% loss in Black Myth Wukong when testing an RTX 4080 Super paired with a Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. So it could be that high performance GPU are even more impacted. And then it says we reached out to Nvidia for comments, and we expect there will be some frenzy behind the scene work to try and figure out the root cause and hopefully fix it. In the meantime, if you don't need extra features the app offers and you prefer higher gaming performance, we recommend doing a clean driver installation and skip the Nvidia app for now. After spending the better part of the year, better part of the past year in the beta status, we can only question why Nvidia didn't leave it there to break a few months. Nvidia didn't leave it there to bake a few months longer. Anyway, yeah, that's the end of the article. We got like, what's this, 24 comments? Actually 27, that is. Let's see what I can come back here. Let's see, what do we got here? 27 comments. This or that said this. What were the settings in the Nvidia app? There's no mention in the article. Especially interested in whether the overlay was enabled, and if so, were there any other overlay active at the same time? And then Nutton said this. This is the first time I have heard of this issue, but I'm glad you pointed it nonetheless. Have you noticed any difference in image quality with and without the app running? It feels like Nvidia shenanigans again. And then who is this? Low Gain said this. I thought WoW was running a bit slower than normal on my laptop recently. I will have to see if removing this fixed the problem. And then he said this. So what's Windows version was this tested on? Windows 11? Question mark. Anyway, and then who is this? Tech TX said this. There's a lot more problems than just slower performance with the Nvidia app. Go to the Nvidia forums and look at all the complaints. I am staying away from the thing for now. He said, and then that mouse said this. That is nothing new. GeForce Experience had the same issue. Always just the install the driver only. And then he's like, I tried the GeForce Experience once and saw no point in using it when I can fine-tune games myself. That's why I have not installed it since and have zero interest in the Nvidia app. And then Doc said this. What were the settings in the Nvidia app? Question mark. There's no mention in the article. Especially interested in whether the overlay was enabled, and if so, were there any other overlay active? And then in parentheses he says Steam, etc. at the same time. And then he said, yeah, that's kind of mission critical info and exactly what I was looking for since the article, if anything, is going to affect performance with this app versus GFE experience. It's going to be the overlay and capture settings, most likely. And then who's this? James said this. Personally, I would stick with selecting install driver only unless someone has a reason to install all the other things. Nvidia tries to install during the driver installation. Drivers only used to still install the Nvidia control panel. Interestingly enough, not so if that is the case. And then Hayes respond to Docs. He says, from what I've seen browsing the net so far, all tests have been done on Windows 11 from the looks of it. I am too lazy to uninstall Nvidia app on my Windows 10 to test it myself, but disabling overlay and whatever does not have any effect on my frame rate whatsoever. This could be something exclusive to Windows 11. Neither GFE or Nvidia app should have any performance impact when you're not actually using any of its features. And then it says in parentheses filter, except filters, video recording, RTX HDR. Then it says this is just a bad clickbait article. We tested performance problems, but we actually didn't fully test anything. Not testing Windows 10 when half of PC gamers are still using this OS. Like, come on. Anyway, see who else I got here. And who else I got here? Who else I got? He said, and then, he said, then C-Tech said this is not really a new thing. GFE has always been collecting telemetry in the background. Now that it's shifting to Nvidia app, what is sad is the discontinuation of Nvidia control panels, which does not have all that stuff running in the background, only the settings portion, which I actually appreciated. It's an irony that the very thing that helps them optimize game to run better is also the thing which makes them run so much slower. So congrats everyone using Nvidia apps. You are their new beta testers. Petition needs to be made to opt out option. Bad enough if you have Epic running telemetry in the background and then Nvidia on top of that. Who else is this? Let's see. Then Jagar said this. Interesting finding, Jared. Were you allowing Nvidia app to optimize any of these of the games tested? And who else is this? Got one more comment here. And then see, Jared said this. He said interesting. He said I tested the same way, so I don't use Nvidia optimized settings in any games. I need to test every GPU with the same settings, whether it's Nvidia, AMD, or Intel. The test hardware is the same as in the ARC B580 review. Here for those that couldn't be bothered to look it up. And then he said Windows 11 Nvidia app using default setting overlay is enabled, as that sort of seems like the only reason to have the app install IMO, so that you can do a AV1 video capture streaming. I've heard there may be a bug causing this specific issue, so we'd have to wait and see what happens. And what is this? Get this out of there. Get this out of there. What is this? Uh-oh. Cancel. Good. Okay, now let's see here. And who was this? Hayes said this. Man, Microsoft is on a roll with Windows 11 updates and broken Ryzen performance, broken Ubisoft games, now broken Nvidia apps. For what it's worth, I have not seen anyone confirming this issue on Windows 10 yet. And then who was this? And then I think it's Alvar said this. Sounds like it's probably auto optimizing games, even though you tell it not to, and it's showing that it's not. Would be interesting to see the results of old drivers in optimized settings versus new drivers in non-optimized. And who is this? Hayes says this. you can easily check in-game options to see whether any of the settings got changed. I'm sure it's I'm sure something trivial like that was double checked before the article got published. And who else says and then Jared said, yeah, remember Nvidia app running slower, not faster. Optimize usually turns down certain settings to improve FPS, but that's not happening. I mean, I can dig into further details. And then it says, I'm not seeing much other than just yeah, they're going. This is the last comment. He said, I am not seeing much other than just general worse performance with Nvidia app installed. Here's the full data, given it has been privately acknowledged to me as a bug. I assume we get an official statement and fix at some point a random reasonably soon. Anyway, and any more comments? These guys are going at it. Let's see here. And yeah, we got 3 more comments here, and then we're done. He says, James said this. Out of curiosity, is the CPU load different with install versus uninstall? The rest of the physical number, not FPS, seems like they would be within a margin of error. He says, well done Nvidia, replacing GeForce with something even worse. And then TX said this, yeah, for those of you saying just don't install it, it won't be optimal in the near future as it will replace the control panel. They better fix all this stuff before they force it on us. And then who was this? Aber said this, I noticed Vermintide 2, talking about Warhammer, it says worst performance on my 4090 Supreme Liquid as a late. Now I know why. Unfortunately, I sold mine so I can replace it. He said, I sold mine so I can replicate the finding. This better go viral. He said, who was this? Oops. Who is this? It says this better go viral. Then Minstab said this. Just making sure, is this Nvidia app versus GFE or Nvidia versus non-software at all? If that's the latter, are you relying on Windows for its drivers? Then he says, Minstab troll, gnoming sanity since 1864 BSE, before Sarpadian empires. And then who is this? I'm almost done here. And let's see, who was this? And then WR said this, is this a problem with the app or the driver? I have never used GFE, but have been using the app for about a year now. I have been getting memory errors related to video RAM since with new app version of the GFE phase out, but that coincides with new driver and Windows update. However, I don't play that many games on what's that? AFAIK. Not all apps with video RAM errors use Nvidia app features. And this should be the last of it. Last comment. And then who is this? Boju said this. Yeah, for those of you saying don't install it, it won't be option. He's responding to text. He said, this ID says it will improve over time. HDR has supposedly improves a lot too with this app. All right, that's the entire article with all the comments. Well, whenever you release a new app, you know, even though you test it, you test it before it comes out on the market. Depending on the PC that you're using, and the setup that you have, you might run into a little error here. You might run into some errors here or there. But does it mean that the app is completely bad? Not really. It does need some improvements. I mean, a little bit more improvement. So the article says it should have been spend more time in the oven baking. meaning testing and retesting and retesting. But it's good that you have a user base, you know, so you can share your feedbacks with Nvidia, you know, if problems do come up. It's called communication, you know. You got to, you got to talk, you know. You just got to talk. So it's a the Nvidia app is not that terrible. It's not terrible. It's just running. You know, you're running in some errors with some games, but other than that, if you're a GeForce fan, use it. If you don't feel like using it, then don't use it. But and then push on from there. But Nvidia will be responding to this. I got another article on this, but I'll do a video for that in a minute. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Nice talking to you people again. Chris, still a Star Wars Star Trek flag for Dark Side. Go. Peace.